Shabbat Shalom. I was on Facebook today, and Facebook is very convenient in a certain way. It gives you notifications when your friends or relatives are having a birthday. They'll say, today is so-and-so's birthday. So I noticed an old friend from Los Angeles, it said it's his 64th birthday. And I'm thinking, 64 years. Didn't the Beatles do a song about that a long time ago? And yes, they did. If you remember, in 1967, they sang a song, When I'm 64. And in 1967, I was 14 years old, and thinking, you know, the age of 64 is a long, long way off. It sounds very old. And the theme of the song, actually, is that it's rather old. You know, will you still love me when I'm 64? It's a question, because 64 is, you know, a long way away from being the age of 14. That's 50 years. But 50 years does pass. And 64 is a looming reality for me, certainly, at this point. And for my friend, it's his present-day reality. And so I wished him a happy birthday. And I made mention of the Beatles song and how far off a reality it seemed at that time, and how now it's here. And so now that it's here, what do we do with that number, 64? Well, I go back to my Jewish sources when I am faced with questions like this. And Rabbi Nachman of Breslov said something very, very good about aging. Basically, he said, it is forbidden to be old. It is forbidden to be old. Of course, he was not talking about chronological age. There's nothing we can do about that. But there is something we can do about our psychology, our spirituality, our maturity. It doesn't have to become rigid. It doesn't have to become ossified. It doesn't have to become old. It can remain ever new, ever fresh, ever young. And how do we do this? By not losing touch with the spirit, which is an eternal reality, an eternally vibrant and vital and, if you will, youthful reality. Rabbi Nachman himself did not live a long time. He died at the age of 38. But it is said about him that he had the ability to renew himself many times over the course of a day. He had the ability to start over if he didn't like how his day was going, or if something had thrown him off. He didn't continue to be off for very long, because he had a way of reconnecting with the source of his renewal. Good advice and good guidance for every one of us in the way that we live our lives. There's also something that you might remember from the High Holy Day liturgy, where we say, Al tashlichenu le'ed zikna. God, cast us not into old age. Cast us not off when we get old, is the way it's often translated. But I translate it the first way, cast us not into old age. Let us not grow old in our conception of life, of our conception of ourselves, and our conception of God. Let it be something that is ever evolving and ever renewing and ever changing in a positive way. We don't have to get old in the sense of being rigid and frigid and not able to adapt, cursing change rather than embracing it. We certainly live in times that are bringing changes in a more rapid and widespread way than have ever been experienced before. So how do we maintain our balance in this day and age? By renewing ourselves over and over again, and by refusing to grow old in that spiritual and psychological sense. So when you reach the age of 64, or if you've reached the age of 64 already, I especially want to wish you the ability to renew yourself over and over again, to not be cast off into old age, to remain ever youthful and ever vigorous, at least on the inner level of your life, so that you can live in these times of vast change in a balanced and fulfilled way. And so I wish you Shabbat Shalom, and I look forward to speaking to you again next week.